should go away on its own after a couple hours. If you go inside, you'll almost definitely see me. Since you'll have encountered me, and I am the only full-time employee, and I'm almost always here. You may catch me reading a book because for some reason the internet doesn't work. Way out here, cell phone service is dicey on good days and non-existent on most. If you need to make a call, you can leave and go up the hill a ways, preferably down towards town, because the other way will take you out in the woods. You don't even want me to go into all the leaves and vets on it.
Do you have a minute?
You can pay me 25 cents a minute and use your store's landline. Literally, moved down by the owner.
Thank you very much.
You can check the phone records. Yeah, sorry. But while you're here, don't be offended if I don't strike up a conversation, because if I'm completely honest,
I'd like to talk to you about something. Do you have a moment?
Is real or not.
Up until now, I've been the quintessential honor student. I believe I've been handling my position as student council president with ease as well. And I don't mean that in a boasting way, that's simply how I thought about it. But in the end, I was unable to make any kind of impact with either Suzui-san or Kaneshiro. Turns out there's no use for a rule-abiding honor student when things get rough. Now that I'm a member of this team, I want to do everything I can to help you all. All my studying up to this point has kept me quite narrow-minded. I think I will need to broaden my horizons somewhat.
I'm not gonna lose my job because you didn't escape
My
captivity.
first step will be to learn more about the other students.
Farmer Brown.
I struggle with that. There seems to be a disparity between my tastes and those of my peers.
He insisted something was wrong with the product because all of his animals suddenly had human faces. We settled with him by charging a significant discount on his next
I hope you're right. But I don't even know where people like to go for fun. It would be nice to have a grasp of such concepts. Plus, the student council must be responsible for understanding the student body they serve, right? I don't mean that in a surveillance way. I just want to know them as people. I may be a phantom thief, but that's no excuse for me to start ignoring my presidential duties. Now, back to the topic at hand. Where do people usually go for fun?
At the edge of our town is a shitty gas station that's open 24 hours a day.
People talking about going to the arcade. To be perfectly honest, I've never been to one myself. Do you think you could take me? I'm not sure if it'll broaden my horizons per se, but simply studying won't get me anywhere.
A faded wet floor.
Thank goodness. I think I would have been totally lost in there had I gone by myself. Well, let's get going. So, this is where everyone comes to enjoy themselves. There are more girls here than I expected. Hey, over there! You play by aiming the gun at the screen, right? That actually seems somewhat realistic. If it's okay with you, do you think you could teach me? I did it! No wait! Oh, so this is how it is. Of course, that was just a game, but I wonder if I could apply some of the techniques I learned here during battle. Perhaps going somewhere I don't normally frequent is what helped me come up with that idea. You know, it may only be a little bit, but I think I'm starting to understand how people pass time. Interesting. I would have never even thought about coming here before. Hey, do you think you could help me out again later? I might be able to give the team more ideas if I can gain increased knowledge outside of my studies. I need to live up to your expectations now that I've taken up your time. Perhaps it won't be immediately, but I'm sure I can be of use.
More sun way back, covering a crack in the foundation by a cooler. It's since turned into a pothole. The pothole, a collection of points from sticky spill-off, has become a mixture tar pit collecting countless insect corpses and occasional small roses.
There must have been people who obstructed your actions as the Phantom Thieves.
By some providence,
You managed to overcome them because you had someone who specialized in analyzing enemies.
From the business. Always kind of
Isn't that right?
Some kind of mysterious chemical cocktail. That's the defining characteristic of this establishment.
Thou art I. Thou hast acquired a new power. It shall become the wings of rebellion that breaketh thy chains of captivity. With the birth of the priestess persona, I have obtained the wings of blessing that shall lead to freedom and new power.
Of our town is a shitty over 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. If you were to go inside, you see row after row of off-brand chips, cookies, potted meats, and ramen. Expiration
By
dates.
the way, you went to the red light district when you were chasing after Kaneshiro, right? I'd like to go there as well. No, not for my own purposes.
Covering a
To tell
crack
you
in the
the truth,
foundation by a cooler.
I recently got a report that one of our students was spotted there. I'm skeptical, but I'd like to confirm firsthand for myself.
Tar pit collecting countless insect corpses.
Well, it's getting late. Let's go home.
Nobody ever complains about the aesthetic. By some providence bordering on the supernatural, the health inspector has repeatedly signed off on the business. Always kind of ignoring the faint smell of some kind of mysterious chemical cocktail.
Yes.
That's the defining characteristic of the establishment. More noticeable than the family of mutated raccoons that live in the crawl space below the grease trap. We think they're mutated anyway. At the very least, they have to be inbred to the point of mental retardation. While the alpha, like a 3-foot-tall son of a bitch named Rocco, has been spotted multiple times chewing on people's tires and run over at least twice.
Hey!
It keeps coming back. The lingering smell, a sweet combination of honeysuckle, ammonia, vomit, who knows what else, has never been positively identified. But the prevalent theory is that it's coming through cracks in the foundation, wafting up from the underground. It's strongest right after a rain, hugging to the point of tear-inducing if you get too close to the storm drains, leaving Rocco and his clan.
Hey!
If you were to go inside, you might also see the bathroom cowboy. He exists as part urban legend, part urban fact, because even though he's never been officially confirmed to exist, we have several security cameras recording a man in his description entering the building, heading into the bathroom and leaving. What makes him a legend is what people claim to see him doing in the bathroom. Some of the stories are only weird. The guy went to pee only to see a man dressed as a cowboy handing out balloon anthems. Some of the stories are more bizarre, like the guy who says he walked into the bathroom to see a man wearing nothing but a cowboy hat, boxers, and boots with spurs, sitting in an old-fashioned stone sharpening wheel, literally grinding an axe. And when he walked in, the bathroom cowboy stopped what he was doing, looked up with a smile and a tip of the hat and said, "Come on, man. Come on with me." The guy, understandably uncomfortable with the situation, went to find an employee, but by the time anybody came back to the bathroom, the cowboy had vanished, bench grinder and all. Now, the cowboy, that may or may not haunt the gas station bathroom, appears to follow a code of rules.
Yes!
Unless there's only one other person in the room with him.
Not yet!
He's always polite. Honestly, it doesn't seem that bad, especially when you compare it to some of the other things going on in there. If you go inside, you might instantly get a tooth. Strangely common phenomenon that nobody really understands. It should go away on its own after a couple hours. If you go inside, you'll almost definitely see me behind the counter, because I am the oldest employee, and I'm almost always here. You may catch me reading a book because for some reason the internet doesn't work anyway out here. And cell phone service is dicey on good days and non-existent on most. If you need to make a call, you can leave and go up the hill a ways, preferably back towards town, because the other way will take you out to the woods and you don't even want me to go into all the reasons because that's not a good idea. Or you can pay me 25 cents a minute and use the store's landline. Literally, because it's been done by the owner. I have to actually enforce it because they do check the phone records. Yeah, sorry. But while you're here, don't be offended if I don't strike up a conversation because if I'm completely honest, I don't always know for sure if everyone that comes through these doors is real or not. And if I had to acknowledge everyone in that place that can be an actual person, I'd lose my mind. We don't need any more of that going on around here. I guess the point I'm trying to make is this. Weird things happen to me working at this shitty gas station at the edge of town. I wish I could easily decide what was the weirdest thing that ever happened to me, but I can't. There's so many. I've seen a total of 4 coffins inside the store on 3 different occasions. I met at least a dozen people wandering back into town from the woods claiming they'd escaped aliens or a government conspiracy or cultists. And they had no money but needed to make a call. So can I please just let them use our phone before they find us? But rules are rules. I'm not going to lose my job just because you didn't escape captivity with a little bit of pocket change. And there's Farmer Brown. Yeah, that was his real name. He got mad at us and complained about the bulk treatment that we've been ordering for him. He insisted something was wrong with the product because all of his animals...
You're right.
We settled with him by charging a significant discount on his next couple purchases. He stopped coming in one day and they found him... what was left of his body in a bedroom in his farmhouse. One that had been locked in his nose.
All right.
As far as I know, they still haven't figured out what happened. Anyway, I guess I could tell you a story or two. First, I need to get ready for work. See, at the edge of our town, there's a shitty little gas station. It's open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and sometimes longer. If you were to go inside, you'd probably see the tired cashier sitting behind the front desk doing his best to mind his own business. He's real. You may also see someone else. You may also see something else. If you were curious about the reality of anyone or anything else, including yourself, inside that...
Good night.
small, ammonia-scented, flickering fluorescent collection of off-brand junk food, dirt, 4 walls, and roof, may I recommend that you follow the cashier's lead and mind your own business. I've been working at that gas station almost non-stop since I graduated high school. At this point, I doubt that I could quit if I wanted to. But enough about me, let's get back to the interesting things, the gas station. I spent a decent amount of time yesterday at the start of my shift trying to decide which story would be worthy of being my first document to the world. And any time I tell someone outside the gas station anything about what happened therein, I know what to expect. People don't believe it, but people don't want to believe it.
Hi, everyone.
Imagine the difficulty that I had trying to call the sheriff's station to explain that half a pig broke into the store and is currently running amok, breaking things and screaming with the voice of an old woman. Yeah, I meant half a pig. Yes, a pig. The front half. No, this isn't a joke. I'm at the gas station.
What do you want to do?
What do you mean, which gas station? The shitty one at the edge of town. You must be new. Can I please talk to someone else? Then she finally put me through Tom. Tom is the sheriff's deputy. The one that drew the short straw all those years ago and had to come out of the gas station for the first time. Back before his hair was all white. He's been in enough times to know that all I have to say when he picks up the line is, "It's half a pig. It won't stop screaming and I can't catch it." And he grunts, mutters something about being pretty freaking weird. And he goes out to help me catch it. But Tom's a good guy.
Damn it.
I asked around, but nobody knew where the pig had come from.
Yep.
This was back when Farmer Brown was still alive. And he came down to take a look and provide his expert opinion. According to Farmer, the pig had somehow been chopped down the middle, but miraculously none of the important organs were hit. Nothing supernatural about it, just really unusual. It stayed at the local elementary school as part of the mascot for the summer before a scientist and his team from somewhere up north offered the school $1,000 to let them take it. For science, I suppose. Anyway, I don't mean to ramble. My point is that it's hard to believe some of these stories if you haven't been inside the gas station at least once. Maybe you have. We're the only gas station for miles. We're close enough to some big crossroads. If you've ever been out driving in an unfamiliar part of the country and find yourself lost, it's not impossible to could have found yourself at my door. Maybe look at the top off your gas. Maybe ask for directions. If you have a strange memory of a weird place that somehow doesn't seem to fit with the rest of your memories, then there's a chance we've actually met. Back to last night. I was sitting behind the counter with a pen and a book of receipt paper, trying to remember the strange story that had happened to me. It still falls within the realm of believability. I've had plenty of things happen to me that were strange. I won't even waste anyone's time ever trying to tell them. I call those the try and forget stories. When Carlos interrupted my concentration. Carlos is one of the part-timers at the gas station. We have a long list of part-time employees. The owner likes to hire transients, drifters, hitchhikers, passers-by, and runaways. People looking for work for a few days. I try not to get to know the part-timers that come and go after a few days or sometimes a few weeks. Rarely long enough to form any kind of meaningful relationship.
What?
Carlos has been working here for almost a year now. He started as a part of the prison work relief program, unloaded trucks twice a week. He was the only one of the 12 prisoners that didn't disappear during a freak snowstorm last December. But it's none of my business. Carlos did his time, and when they released him, he came to work here, cleaning the store and unloading the truck. He comes in 6 times a day for each of his 30-minute shifts. Actually, now that I think about it, I'm not exactly sure what he does during those shifts. The store is never clean, and trucks only come twice a week, exclusively during the daytime hours, as per an arrangement following the incident. Maybe one day I'll ask Carlos what he does for the owner. All I know is that he's the closest thing to a friend that I have here. I registered last night. I knew something unusual was going on. He was sweating bullets, pale, and on the verge of passing out. He kept glancing back at that man in the suit that wandered into the store, standing next to the frozen drink machine. He told me that he needed to talk to me now. I told him to go ahead.
I'm sorry.
But he refused to say anything unless I followed him into the freezer. I usually hate to leave the front of the store unwatched. We have the occasional shoplifter. Plus, there was that one time the Rocco got in and made off with 2 cases of cigarettes. Carlos seemed serious. I made an exception for him. And once we were in the sub-freezing safety of the walk-in cooler, Carlos asked me if I had seen the guy in the suit. I said, yeah, that's on. He asked if I knew the guy. I said, yeah, I've seen the guy around town. His name is Kiefer. He was running for some kind of office. I can't remember which one.
What would you like?
And he stopped by the gas station every now and then.
Thank you.
He drove
What would you
an old
like?
black SUV that only took premium. I didn't know much of it
Here.
from in town, but he was a local, definitely a local. His picture was framed in my high school's trophy case for one of those sports competitions that he won years and years before I got there. You only have so many things to be proud of. Oh, yeah, I knew Kiefer. Or exactly acquainted. I told him this to Carlos. He shook his head and said, no, that can't be Kiefer. I said, why not? Carlos told me, that can't be Kiefer because Kiefer's dead. I killed him 2 days ago. His body's in the trunk of my car right now. That's where things started getting weird. I really don't want to do this. I recognize how awful it is to pause a story at a place like this, but I'm about to head back to work, and I only just now was taking my lunch break, and I came all the way down here to the library to document the last thing before I forgot. But I still have to eat, I have to change out those dirt-covered clothing before I head back. I did a lot of digging last night. Plus, I don't want to leave the part-timer alone with all those lawn gnomes until we know exactly what's going on. Oh, I forgot to mention the lawn gnomes. Okay, so I'm so scatterbrained right now. Like I said, it was a very strange night between hand plants, Farmer Jr., and the cultists that wouldn't leave me alone. I hardly had any time to collect my thoughts. And of course, there's the Carlos situation. I promise. I'll come back. I'll tell you all about it. First, you grab some coffee.
Dark Horse Wine, we believe victory is yours to define. For us, it's about creating a great tasting wine at a reasonable price. We get the first pick of grapes from over 400 growers, and we taste our wine over 100 times from vine to bottle. That is our win. Those are our terms. Dark Horse Wine, the taste of victory.
Gaming page where you about you tacking the screen. Please, I beg you, don't tack the screen.
There are times this world drifts so close to the fabric of reality I can hear something calling me from beyond that veil. Sometimes I get too close, and you feel that thing on the side tugging at the corners of my mind. I'm worried about Carlos. He doesn't seem to be taking this so well. In case you don't know, I work at this shitty gas station at the edge of our small town, and weird things have been happening for as long as I've been there. Now I started to tell some of my stories, and if you haven't caught up yet, I'd like to invite you to check out part 1. When I returned to work after my post yesterday, I was delighted to find a stack of receipt paper sitting neatly in the registered counter with notes written in my own shaky handwriting. I don't remember writing these notes, but then again, I don't remember a lot of them. It is possible that I worked too hard, or maybe the fumes coming from beneath the gas station are playing tricks on me, or perhaps it's just another side effect of my condition. At any rate, I'm not one to look at a gift horse in the night, or any other animal in any other orifice, for that matter. Admittedly, my handwriting is perfect, and at times, the scratches on the receipt paper become nearly illegible. So if anything here because I copied it wrong. No, that part. This is my best effort at the translation. 7 o'clock. It's getting dark earlier these days. 7:30. Farmer Jr. hand plants. I told him that they weren't there anymore. He left his phone number scribbled on the back of a coupon for 15% off bulk big feet from an online retailer. He's trying to send me a message. 9 o'clock. I think maybe some kids are trying to play a prank on me. I found the lawn gnome behind the floor blinds. I don't think much about it. I put him in a box behind the counter. But then I found another matching lawn gnome in the soda case. I added this one to a box as well. It wasn't until I noticed the third and fourth lawn gnomes that I started to suspect something. I had taken out the garbage and found gnomes perched to the top of a branch of a tree next to the dumpster, staring down at me with gargoyles. I used a chair and broom to knock them down. I put them in a box with the other three. When I got back to my desk, I found the note in my chair written in red. It said simply, "I'm in the walls." I don't know who wrote it. The paper smells like old chips. Bavaria. 10 o'clock. There's a strange scratching noise coming from the tiles above the cash register. I fear Rocco and his group may have infiltrated everything.
All right.
11 o'clock. Farmer Jr. called the store. He asked about the hand plants. I assured him they weren't there anymore, and if they ever showed up again, I would call him. But they started to suspect that I'm lying. 12 o'clock. When the cultist recruiters wandered in from the community of the woods, they hated when I called them cultists. I know the recruiters aren't supposed to interact with the outside world, but from time to time, they'll sneak into town, never any further than this gas station, and they'll buy a couple cigarettes. There are times when this world drifts so close to the fabric of reality that I can hear something calling me from beyond that veil. Sometimes when I get too close, I can feel that thing on the other side tugging me at the corners of my mind. I'm worried about Carlos. He doesn't seem to be taking this so well. In case you don't know, I work at this shitty gas station at the edge of our small town. Weird things have been happening for as long as I've been there. I only started to tell some of my stories, and if you haven't caught up yet, I'd like to invite you to check out part 1. When I returned to work after my post yesterday, I was delighted to find a stack of receipt papers sitting neatly in my register counter, with notes written in my own shaky handwriting. I don't remember writing these notes, but again, I don't remember a lot of it. It is possible that I'm working too hard, or maybe it feels as coming from beneath the gas station playing tricks on me, or perhaps it's just another side effect of my condition. At any rate, I'm not one to look at a gift horse in the back, or any other animal in any other orifice. For this matter, admittedly, my handwriting isn't the best, and at times, the scratches on the receipt paper become nearly illegible. So if anything herein seems unbelievable, it's probably because I copied it wrong. No, never mind. This is my best effort at the transcription. 7 o'clock. It's getting dark earlier these days. 7:30. Farmer Jr. came into the gas station tonight, asking about the hand plants. I told him they weren't there anymore. He left his phone number scribbled on the back of a coupon for 15% off both safety and an online retailer. He's trying to send me a message. 9 o'clock. I think maybe some kids are trying to play a prank on me. I found a lawn gnome behind the pork rinds. I don't think much about it. I put him in a box behind the counter. But then I found another matching lawn gnome in the soda case. I added this one to a box as well. It wasn't until I noticed the third and fourth lawn gnomes that I started to suspect something. I had taken out the garbage and found gnomes perched atop the branch of the tree next to the dumpster, staring down at me like gargoyles. I used a chair and broom to knock them down. I put them in a box with the other 3. When I got back to my desk, I found a note in my chair written in red ink. It said simply, "I'm in the walls." I don't know who wrote it. The paper smells like old chips. 10 o'clock. There's a strange scratching noise coming from the tiles above the cash register.
Hey.
I fear Rocco and his group may have the
For real?
Again. 11 o'clock. Farmer Jr. called the store. He asked about the hand plants. I assured him they weren't there anymore, and if they ever showed up again, I would call him. I think he's starting to suspect that I'm lying. 12 o'clock. When the cultist recruiters wandered in from the community of the woods, they hated when I called them cultists. I know the recruits aren't supposed to interact with the outside world, but from time to time, they'll sneak into town, never any further than this gas station, and they'll buy a couple of cigarettes. They aren't supposed to try and recruit new members until they graduate to the honorable senior cultist status. This one is a very good cultist. I know they aren't supposed to have names, but I'm going to call this one Marlboro. I'll let you guess why. Marlboro stayed in the store for at least half an hour trying to convince me to go back to the compound with them. There are times when this world drifts so close to the fabric of reality that I can hear something calling me from beyond that veil. Sometimes when I get too close, I can feel that thing on the other side tugging at the corner of my mind. I'm worried about Carlos. He doesn't seem to be taking this so well. In case you don't know, I work at this shitty gas station in our small town. Weird things have been happening for as long as I've been there.
Hey.
I started to tell some of my stories, and if you haven't caught up yet, I'd like to invite you to check out part 1. As I returned to work after my post yesterday, I was delighted to find a stack of receipt papers sitting neatly in the register counter, with notes written in my own shaky handwriting. I don't remember writing these notes. But again, I don't remember a lot of them. It is possible that I'm working too hard, or maybe the fumes coming from beneath the gas station are playing tricks on me, or perhaps it's just another side effect of my condition. At any rate, I'm not one to look at a gift horse in the mouth, or any other animal in any other orifice, for that matter. Admittedly, my handwriting is correct, and at times, the scratches on the receipt paper become nearly illegible. So if anything herein seems unbelievable, it's probably because I copied it wrong. Never that in mind. This is my best effort at the transcription. 7 o'clock. It's getting dark earlier these days. 7:30. Farmer Jr. came into the gas station tonight, asking about the hand plants. I told him that they weren't there anymore. He left his phone number scribbled on the back of a coupon for 15% off bulk pig feed from an online retailer.
For real?
He was trying to send me a message. 9 o'clock. I think maybe some kids are trying to play a prank on me. I found a lawn gnome behind the pork rinds. I don't think much about it. I put him in a box behind the counter. But then I found another matching lawn gnome in the soda case. I added this one to a box as well. It wasn't until I noticed the third and fourth lawn gnomes that I started to suspect something. I picked out the garbage and found gnomes perched atop the branch of a tree next to the dumpster, staring down at me like a gargoyle. I used a chair and broom to knock them down. I put them in a box with the other three. When I got back to my desk, I found a note in my chair written in red ink. It said simply, "I'm in the
Want to head back?"
I don't know who wrote it. The paper smells like oranges. Area. 10 o'clock. There's a strange scratching noise coming from the tiles above the cash register. I fear Rocco and his group may have infiltrated the building again. 11 o'clock. Farmer Jr. called the store. He asked about the hand plants. I assured him they weren't there anymore, and if they ever showed up again, I would call him. They started to suspect that I'm lying.
Hey!
12 o'clock. One of the cultist recruiters wandered in from the community in the woods. They hated when I called them cultists. I know the recruits aren't supposed to interact with the outside world, but from time to time, they'll sneak into town, never any further than this gas station, and they'll buy a couple cigarettes. They aren't supposed to try and recruit new members until they graduate to the honorable senior cultist status, but this one isn't a very good cultist. I know they aren't supposed to have names, but I'm going to call this one Marlboro stayed in the store for at least half an hour trying to convince me to go back to their compound with them. They hated when I called their trouble. He tried to appeal to my logical side, but then I let him know politely but firmly that I was not interested in logic. I can't remember when he left. 2 o'clock. I found myself digging again. Sometimes on slow nights I let myself drift. My mind goes somewhere, and when I come to, I wonder where I was just now. Who was that controlling my body while I was gone? My body did those things I've done so many times before that I guess it's learned to do without me. My body restocked the cigarettes. My body rotated the frozen drink machine. My body scraped the mold off the bottoms of the ice buckets. My body emptied the rat traps, and somewhere along the way, my body found a shovel, went out back, and started digging the hole. Actually, I should maybe say my body started digging. I have been, or rather, my body has been digging this hole off and on for the last few months. Usually I come to after a few shovelfuls, but this time I had another foot deep before I snapped back to reality and asked myself, what the hell am I doing? 3:30. I just noticed a door at the end of the hallway past the walk-in cooler. How long have I worked here and never noticed that door before? It seems disappointingly ordinary as far as doors go, except for the fact that it's warm, the touch, it feels like it's vibrating. I try the handle and it's locked. And when I go back to my register, I notice a man in a trench coat standing outside beyond the gas pump, just outside the reach of our lights, dangerously close to the road. I can't tell if he's looking at me, or if he's looking past the building and the woods on the other side. I wish he would stand there like that, still, with his arms reaching down past his knee. Scratching against the tiles in the ceiling over the counter is getting louder. 3:45. 12:45, a man came into the store rolling a large white ice chest behind him. He had sunken blue eyes, wiry hair coming from his nose and ears, long bony fingers, and paper-thin skin revealing every blue and green vein beneath the translucent dermis. He wore a bowler cap and smelled like milk. I had definitely never seen him around before. He asked if we would be interested in partnering up with him. He sold ground beans and beat down prices. But I told him our store doesn't do well with the fresh food category, recommending he try his hand at making jerky. Before he left, he scooped about a pound or so of raw ground meat from the ice chest into a piece of parchment paper and gave it to me as a sample. Once he had left, I took the meat to the cooler, where I found another lawn gnome waiting for me. I put the gnome into the box with the other 7. 4 o'clock. Carlos just told me something very strange about Kiefer. 4:30. There was a kid named Spencer Middleton who went to the same high school as me and Kiefer. Spencer was just a year ahead of me, but looked much older and acted much younger. I live in a small town, and small towns get bored. For entertainment, some turn to gossip, some turn to sinister pastimes. The latter often fueled the former. There were rumors around town that Spencer liked to torture and kill animals. Rumors that Spencer's parents and siblings always locked their bedroom doors. No one to sleep at night.
I shall ask you again another
The
time.
rumors didn't slow down any after the fire at Spencer's house, when Spencer was the only one to escape. I once saw Spencer gleefully stomp on a lizard, with his head back and laughed. Some short time after his house caught fire for the second time, Spencer lost town. The story went on that he'd gone off to join the army. I don't know what to think about that, so I simply didn't think about that. I would have been perfectly happy to never think about that. But after all these years, I'm forced to. Because Spencer Middleton just came into the store and ordered a cup of coffee. He's sitting in one of the booths, talking to Kiefer.
Hey!
While Bill was back, he asked if I could spare some time to talk about his fake religion. I hated when I called it a fake religion. And I told him that he had 4:45. Spencer and Kiefer sat around for a while and didn't buy anything but 2 cups of coffee. When they finally left, I let Carlos know. He had been hiding under a blanket in the walk-in cooler. Although I can't really understand why. Carlos explained to me exactly what happened. He had finished his shift a couple nights ago, just left the gas station when he saw Kiefer's SUV pull over into a ditch at the bottom of the hill. Carlos, being the good guy that he is, decided to check and see if Kiefer needed any help. He says that when he pulled up and got out of the car,
For real?
it sounded like a loud crunching noise coming from just beyond the tree line. Carlos went to investigate. That's when he saw something. When I asked Carlos what he saw, he just started speaking Spanish, fast panic sort of way. I don't speak Spanish, but I nodded along empathetically. The only word I could pick up was
Oh my god.
Strega, which is the name of the liquor we carry. Whatever it was that Carlos was saying, it made him race back to his car as fast as he could and back out quickly without looking. And that's when he ran over Kiefer.
How about you?
Carlos is a good guy, but he was in a bad situation. He stopped long enough to get out, check on Kiefer, and confirm that he was definitely
That's
dead.
correct.
There was nothing he could do to change that fact. It was an accident. Carlos was on parole. It was that thing in the woods, and Carlos had to make a decision. So, he heaved the body into the trunk of his car, and he drove off. Carlos took me to his car and showed me the body. I can't confirm 100%. There was a key in the trunk of his car, not just because of his unmistakable face, but also because of his
Nice going.
in his pocket. 5 o'clock. I finally got tired of the scratching and pulled our ladder out of the storage to see what the raccoon was doing up the ceiling. And when I pushed back the pile, the only thing up there was another gnome. That makes a dozen so far. 6 o'clock.
Now,
The man in the trench coat is still outside. The cultist came back in, demanding an audience with me, insisting that if I would just listen to him, I would see that his reasoning was superb and flawless, and that I would be a fool not to join him in the perfection of logic and nirvana. This is his belief structure. I agreed to listen to his pitch. If he would agree to ask the man in the trench coat to leave. Our hasty verbal contract in place, I steeled myself to listen. Honestly, he did make a few good points. But I suppose to be expected from a viral thought experiment strong enough to convince perfectly normal people to abandon their real lives and go live in that commune in the woods, past the shitty gas station on the edge of town. They call themselves